Well, hi guys. I was asked a question a couple of times about narrow fronts being better or worse for some jobs. Now, I was brought up and raised running narrow front tractors, so you get a healthy respect for them right off the bat. Um, Otherwise, they can get you in a lot of trouble real quick and turn a tractor over. Uh, but there are advantages and disadvantages to narrow front tractors. You want to back a wagon in a barn, you grab the narrow front tractor because it'll steer quicker, it's more maneuverable, and it's easier to back one in than a wide front is. Quite a lot easier. Um, are there some disadvantages? Yes. On this tractor, particularly this 1850, the stock tire on the rear is an 18.4/34. On the front is a 7.5 L15. Used to be known as a 750/16. Excuse me. But they've gone to the 7.5 L. Okay. That being said, as you can see by that tire, that they're set out, meaning the rims are on backwards. And the rims are on backwards for one reason: to spread the load out farther. Imagine this front end, these tires turned around, and the bottom of your tire, the bottom of these two tires in the center down there, are about an inch apart. So you're putting all your weight on the front of the tractor in a V, like this. Well, if the ground's soft, say goodbye. It's going to plow. Even with the tires out like this, it's going to plow. That tire footprint is 6.5 inches. And of that 6.5 inches, most of the weight is carried right here on this side because of the V of the tire. It's, they're angled. So, in essence, you're carrying, say, 6,000 pounds on roughly 4.5 inches of the tire, which is not much. In soft ground, it'll go down. No two ways about it. The more weight, the heavier the tractor, the worse and more pronounced this becomes. Now, take the other 1550 inside, that is narrow front, has 650 16s on the front. The tractor weighs roughly 7,000 pounds, so about 3,000 of that is actually on the front end. And those tires will hold it up. Now, if it gets soupy, like it is right now, nothing's going to hold it up. It's going down. But with this tractor, I would prefer to leave it as a narrow front because, well, my own thing. I've always wanted one of these narrow front. It is a little bit different, and for what I do, it'll work. It'll work fine. It's a little more maneuverable, but when you start using 3-point equipment like a field cultivator, mounted plow, something heavy on the 3-point, you may have to add weight to the front of the tractor to hold it down, make it more stable. But I think what I'm going to do with this one is go to a 9.5L 3-rib 15-inch front tire, or an 11L 15 3-rib to get the width to help hold that front end up. It's not for looks, it's not for anything like that. It is more rubber to ground contact to hold the weight up. And that is if I can find a set of rims dished. I really like to have them dished correctly, dished like these back ones, the front ones on it are. If I could find a 8-inch wide wheel with this exact dish, then they could be put on like they're supposed to be. But you're not going to be able to turn them around. They're going to be they're going to be on there one way, and that's it. So I've got a set that is deep dished from the inside here to the outside of the rim, but they're going to be mounted backwards, and they'll work. But I got to wait until I get the tires changed on the back, because I do not know how much it's going to raise it up. If you look at most of the newer tires now, they are 63 to 65 inches tall. These are 60. This is the BF Goodrich Power Grip. The other side is a Firestone. Is it a Power Torque? Traction Torque. And it's a little bit smaller than this one is. Henceforth is why it has a funny wear pattern. There's more lug here than there is over here, because the tractor is sitting at an angle like this from side to side. It's lower on that side, so it's putting more weight and wear from the center of the tire this way, which means the ring and pinion in this is always working, or you know what I mean, ring gear, or the pinion gear. But like I say, there are advantages and disadvantages to this tractor. You don't go into a ditch sideways, meaning you don't parallel the ditch and try to go down and back up. You'll roll these tractors. You got to go straight in, straight down, and across it. Otherwise, you can roll it. But if you were born and raised on this kind of a tractor, narrow front, you know what to do and what not to do. But you always got to be careful. You never let your guard down for a minute, because you can roll one. In fact, that 1550 gas sitting in the barn came off of a farm down in Kentucky. Bought new there. They had it for a few months, and one of the boys at the farm rolled a Farmall. It was H or an M, I don't remember what I was told, and everybody got scared of it. So the tractor only was used basically on the road. They'd go to the field, get the wagons of hay, bring them back to the barn, or tobacco, or ear corn, what have you. It was not used in the field, and is why the back tires are wore off of it. It's only got about 1,100 hours on it, but probably those biggest majority of those 1,100 hours were spent on the road, running up and down it, pulling wagons. So it's not really had any field use to speak of. Yeah, if you wanted to put a wagon in a barn between the two 1550s, both row crops, you would grab the 1550 narrow front and back it in, because the wide front you'd be fighting. But I hope this explains a little bit about these narrow fronts. Kind of also with a narrow front, you have the ability to put a mounted picker on it. I prefer a narrow front tractor to cultivate with. You know, I can go on and on. Raking hay, I would rather have a tractor with the wheel set like this is on the front right now, because it gives you that little extra bit of conditioning, crimping as you rake hay. May sound crazy to a lot of people, but if you've baled enough hay and you've used these kind of tractors before, narrow front, that are bigger, you'll understand, you know what I'm talking about. At any rate, guys, I guess I'm going to get off here. This has just been, kind of a little, I don't want to say Q&A, but I've been asked this question several times, and asked about the rims. So I thought I'd make this and kind of try to explain that a little bit. Like I say, with the wheels turned in, you have a tight V. And imagine, instead of 6 inches between the wheels, you've got about an inch. That's a lot of weight in a narrow area. So a lot of guys turn them out like this is to get better flotation, as if you will. And if I put the tires on, get a set of tires on the back, once they're on, I'll decide 9.5L, 11L, 15 3 ribs to go on the front. But I can't do it until I get those. At any rate, guys, we'll see you next time, and as always, please comment, hit that like button, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.